All right, good evening. Um, I played half of this again before giving my thoughts. I might go back and play the other two 1982 shows from this box before I put it up. Well, I still got to read the book. I'm talking about Grateful Dead, In and Out of the Garden, Madison Square Garden 81, 82, and 83. Uh, Open this sucker up. Number 12, 191. Okay. I've shown this before, but I'll just show it again for anybody new because it's been a few months since I talked about. I went on my little diatribe of who the hell designed this, 2 foot wide box for this shelf. There's your nice booklet, which I'm going to have to read next before I put it all the way up. And then you get a total of 6 shows. You get 3 9 and 310, 1981. You've got, which was at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken, the Dead hadn't played the Garden in 1980, or if they did, it was like one time, and the rest of the tours were mostly Nassau Coliseum, the Capitol Theater, Radio City, obviously the Warfield, because those 6 shows were spun off into Dead Reckoning and Dead Set. Hopefully, we see the complete 6 shows in a box set here. I mean, they've got all of them, so yeah, it'll probably be, well, what, we're about 4 years away from the 50th anniversary, so yeah, if you can't bootleg them all, be patient. We'll get the official box set release. Probably about 10 to 5,000 copies. Okay, we got the 1982 shows, September 20th and the 21st. And of course, at the tail end, 1983. Great artwork. 10, 11, and 10, 12, 83. So I will start off by saying that because of the significance of the 6 shows included, with March 9th, 81 being the return to the Garden after a while, the record company, well, Warner/Rhino, decided they were going to go with the first show of this box as the standout for $30. Um, Honestly, you look at the track list, you get Feel Like a Stranger from Go to Heaven, you get Altea from Go to Heaven. It goes into CC Rider, Ramble on Rose to the medley with El Paso. Deep Elan Blues is that's a cover, of course. Beat It Down the Line, Birdsong, Minglewood Blues, China Cat to Know You Rider, Samson Delilah, The Ship of Fools. I mean, and the medley on the third disc, Prophet to Uncle John to Drums to Space to the other one to the Jerry Ballad spot, Stella Blue, and to Good Lovin'. And they close with U.S. Blues. I understand both the historical point of the run and also you look at that track list I just read off for as quick as I could. Um, yeah, this is a no-brainer to pick and go with as the standalone. My thing is, out of the 6 shows in this set, this is actually the worst one. It's hit filled with the exception of well, obviously the two at that point still new songs, "Feel Like a Stranger" and "Altea," but you know it's a guaranteed seller for your casual fan, your passerby. It's all the fan favorites. I get it why they chose this and the point of it, but if I gotta rank them, this first show was the worst. It's some adjustments because it's been a few months since the end of the other tour, uh, and they're just getting back into it. Still solid playing, and I'm gonna say right now, all 6 of these shows, you could tell by how much the quality of recording had changed versus the classic 70s. Uh, each one of these shows is amazing sounding. There's no drop off in sound quality. It's not like bits and pieces of the April 78 set or some of the It was originally the Dick's picks, and then later it was Dave's picks. Maybe you get the worst case scenario with the road trips ones where something will get fuzzy or drop out. Each one of these is solid, but the standalone you can get for $30, it's not the best one. You go to 310, opening with a amazing Mississippi half step uptown Toodaloo in the Franklin's Tower to me and my uncle. Straight up, and it must have been the Roses and Little Red Rooster. We go back to Lazy Lightning and Supplication from way back when. Looks Like Rain, the classic Deal, Garcia Hunter. Disc 5 is our first Scarlet Fire in the set, into two songs that mostly disappeared from Go to Heaven, Lost Sailor and Saint to Circumstance. And that goes into our little jam drum space medley, The Wheel, into China Doll, into Truckin', into Sugar Magnolia. So that's that whole clip is, let's see, 26, about 45 minutes for a medley across discs 5 and 6. I think I would rank this as the number 5 show, but definitely a little bit more solid, a little bit crazy. I love China Doll and The Wheel. So, and it closes with Broke Down Palace. Amazing choice of songs for this. And again, to get rocking numbers of Lost Sailor and Saint to Circumstance with Scarlet Fire before them is a hell of a set choice. And then it gets a little more interesting going into 1982, because you go to the September 20th, we open with Shakedown Street into a blistering new Minglewood Blues, and then all of a sudden we slow down to go to Candyman. Jerry's vocally locked in, dancing on his fretboard for the solos, into back into El Paso, and then we go to the rare, extremely rare, Dupree's Diamond Blues from Oxomoxoa. It's all over now. Road Jimmy throwing an early version of Throwing Stones into Keep Your Day Job. So you go to the 82 shows, we start getting the first early appearances of what would be on In the Dark in 1987. But this is when they're starting to go there. Scarlet Fire into Man Smart, The Woman is Smarter for Disc 8. Disc 9, just a transcendent Terrapin to drums to space to the Spanish Jam into Truckin', and then the other one, Stella Blue, Sugar, and the second or third ever appearance live of Touch of Grey to close it out. And it's got some resemblance to the polished version that would come up on In the Dark, but they're still tinkering with it a little bit. And I was surprised because of that aspect they didn't go with this as a standalone. But for my money, I think the second best show in this is the very next night, 9/21/82, because we open with a crushing Playing in the Band, into Crazy Fingers, into Me and My Uncle, straight into Big River. I think we got another possibly debut of what's to be track 2 on In the Dark, West LA Fadeaway. If those of you don't remember by the title, Jerry talking about how he wants to rent a chateau and 24 rooms ought to do. Beat It Down the Line, Loser, Looks Like Rain, China into Know You Rider. Disc 11, we get Touch of Grey again, Samson, Delilah, and High Time. The Touch of Grey on 9/21 is actually pretty interesting because it's the 4th or 5th appearance of it. And what stood out for this version is, instead of just closing with the long fade out going, We Will Survive, Jerry decides to go back and sing the second or third stanza of lyrics again, and then they dip back into it. So this one goes about 7 minutes, and I kind of thought it was funny because here they are again exploring, tinkering with the new material, and I liked Jerry taking a chance and saying, "Can I rework that one of those lyrics again? Let's see, can we change it up a little bit?" You go to the last disc on the disc 12, an amazing just the medley for disc 12, set 2. I mean, it opens with Estimated Profit, slips right into an incredible He's Gone, and then it goes into our 14-minute Drums to Space. That Then again, another In the Dark track, Throwing Stones, and into Not Fade Away, into one of my second or third favorite uh, Garcia, the ballad, three quarters of the way on set 2, Black Peter, straight into Good Lovin', and then they close with U.S. Blues. This, for my money, if you had to pick a standalone that maybe not the best one in the set, but real close, 92182 is what is one you should definitely look for if you can find it. I'm sure if they haven't posted it besides any digital download from their site, if someone hasn't posted it on YouTube or file shared it somewhere, I would be surprised. But look for 92182. I think that's going to blow you away. And then number 3 for me in the rankings, we go back a year later, 101183, Wang Dang Doodle, Jackstraw, Loser, Mexicali Blues, another new track, Hell in a Bucket, Keep Your Day Job, China Rider, of course, Bob's got to get his miracle in somewhere, Bertha, a little jam into China Doll to Drum Space, a rare at that point still, but popping in and out to surprise everyone, Saint Stephen. And this has got to be one of the tightest versions I've heard yet of Saint Stephen. And that leads into Throwing Stones, into Touch of Grey, and then Johnny Be Good. What I've noticed with a lot of these Dead sets, especially not only this one, but especially in the April 78 box, and there was one in the Get Shown the Light 77 early May run. Was it New Haven, Connecticut, I think? Some of the best overall shows in these box sets are not the 3-disc monsters. They're these 2-disc ones. And they don't explore quite as much as they do on the 3-disc shows in this. But everything here is not, it may not be as improv based, but when it is, it's technically precise. This is like a surgical precision 2-set performance. There's no dicking around. It's everybody is just locked in. Brent is totally in just peak voice almost on this one. Even his playing. This is before he got tragically worse, of course. But this for a shorter 2-disc release, this might be one of my favorites ever. And again, that's 10, 11, 83. I give that the number 3 slot overall. But just because, especially because there's so much going from 92182. And then finally, the best show in the box. The very next night, October 12th, 83. So we caught off with, this is 3-disc. And again, all is on the inside. The artwork's more or less a continuation of the box. Cold Rain and Snow, off to a wonderful start into, of course, New Minglewood Blues, Ramble on Rose. And then we bring in, if you're keeping track across this set, and this is 83 now, there's another new track for the time showing up. This is another Weir Barlow one. This is My Brother Esau. So that was the original B-side to Touch of Grey when the single came out in 87. This is October 83. So across this set, and then when they reissued Touch of Grey, they made West LA Fade Away the B-side instead. So overall, you are 5 years ahead of time with 4 of the original 7 tracks on In the Dark. And if you count Brother, we count that as, we'll make that track 8 because on all the remaster releases since then, that's what it's been at the first bonus track. You get 5 out of 8 live 4 and 5 years in advance. And for a band tinkering around, just writing new tracks, they, they sound pretty damn great out of the box. Uh, Cassidy, Cumberland Blues, Looks Like Rain, Might As Well. And what made this the number one, especially, you go to disc 16, the halfway, you get a full, almost 30-minute trilogy epic of the opening three songs from Blues for Allah. And maybe I'm a little biased because that's currently my number one Dead studio album, but this version, 4 minutes, Help on the Way, into Slipknot for 10, into Franklin's Tower for almost 15. This might be my favorite version of that trio when it's played live. I don't know, and they close it out with Man Smart, Woman Smarter before we have to go to the last disc with a just blistering He's Gone into 25 minutes of Drums to Space, and then straight into Truck into Black Peter, Not Fade Away, and a shocking cover of the Beatles' Revolution. Everything about 10, 12, 83 is what you want from a pristine, technical precision Grateful Dead performance with some exploratory improv thrown in. But like I said, with the 2 disc in this, done right, actually, this is more exploratory. And even then, it's so locked in on a groove. You can, and more credits to the recording quality. By this time, they are so locked in with Brent that you listen to the tapes and you can pick out what Phil is doing exactly. Billy from Mickey, when Brent comes in and adds some extra harmonies and stuff like that. This is the crown jewel of the set, if you ask me. So again, 10, 12, 83, and then go with 9, 21, 82. If you want the 2 disc of where did I put it? Oh, 10, 11, 83. But definitely look for 10, 12, 83 and 9, 21, 82. Just astounding performances all throughout. So overall, I know this sucker, the packaging won a Grammy. Understandably why, although again, I still say this is kind of nuts to me. I mean, I could deal with the 12 by 12 by 3 box sets, the standards, and then you get the weird then you get the weird ones like April 78 where it's just a big giant box. And you gotta allow for width and girth and all that mess. I mean depth. Oops. Not intrusive thoughts or anything, but bad phrasing. Overall, I would say this is my second favorite of the ones I've played through. With the Get Shown the Light original release, those 5 from early 77, May 77. That'd be my number 1. This is so far my number 2. April 78 would be third, just because there's some spots where you go, I can nitpick some different versions and go with that over this. This was everything solid, but the first show that they went with was the weakest of the bunch. And even then, there's not an actual bad performance across any of these, and there's no production issues. And Jerry and Bobby and Brent, or Phil comes in, of course, on harmony and backing, but they are all just locked in across the 6 of these. And I think Jerry's playing and what he's doing gets better after the March 81 shows. Again, they've been off the road for a few months, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know how often I'm gonna go back to the first two shows. That's the first 7 first 7 discs. I will definitely constantly go back to 82 and 83. Those are the real highs, and especially the 4th and 6th shows I keep pointing out. And I'll let you know how the book goes when I get to it. So that's my thoughts on Grateful Dead, In and Out the Garden, The title of which is the first lyric to Saint Stephen. So, of course, the Saint Stevens in here are blistering and incredible. MSG 81 to 83. If you don't mind some usual overlap across each of the shows, but you definitely want to hear if In the Dark is was your jumping off point, and it was for a good number of people that are born after 1978 or even born after 1990. This is definitely these definitely the 82 and 83 shows are a good piece to look at because you can hear where Touch of Grey immediately found its footing early on, and where they get throwing stones, West LA Fadeaway. And the LA Fadeaway on this is actually, in its original form, is very funky and groovy and a bit daring versus the more polished and production style that came out on the album later on. But that's it. It's my suggestion to go take a look at, and yeah, that's it for now. I'll be back later. I got dinner cooking, Tangerine Dream, Underwater Sunlight original press on the turntable over there, and I'll see how that came out. It's gonna probably be really good because it's Tangerine Dream. And until then, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe, and like I said last time, enjoy yourself because we're all just gonna be dirt in the ground. Thank you, Tom Waits. See ya.